Today, we're going to talk about processed food. Not with fear, not with blame, but through lessons from Japan. When we look at traditional Japanese meals, we see something very simple. Seasonal ingredients, fresh vegetables, fish, fermented foods, small portions, and minimal processing. Food is prepared close to its natural form. It is not engineered. It is not heavily preserved. It is not designed for long shelf life. It is designed for nourishment. Today, we continue our Lessons from Japan series, but this time we focus on processed food. Japan offers an interesting contrast. Traditional Japanese meals emphasize seasonal ingredients, fresh preparation, and minimal processing. At the same time, modern scientific evidence, including recent publications in JAMA, is examining the relationship between ultra-processed foods and chronic disease. So in this talk, we will explore 4 simple pillars. First, Japan's traditional food culture, what it looks like and why it matters. Second, the latest JAMA evidence linking ultra-processed food intake with type 2 diabetes. And third, other growing evidence connecting processed food with cancer, hypertension, and cardiometabolic disease. And fourth, what public health authorities, including the US Dietary Guidelines 2025 to 2030, now recommend regarding ultra-processed foods. This is not about fear. It's not about perfection. It's about recognizing patterns and making better everyday choices. This talk was compiled by Shimazu Yumi, Dr. Siva Navaratnam, ChatGPT, our educational partner, and team You Eat Safely. When we talk about processed foods, it helps to begin with a reference point. Traditional Japanese food cultures has long emphasized seasonal, fresh ingredients. Meals are prepared using minimal processing and very few preservatives. Portion sizes are modest. Variety is high. Fermented food such as miso, natto, and pickles, kimchi are common. Meals are built around whole foods, fish, vegetables, rice, legumes, rather than packaged or industrially formulated products. Importantly, food is viewed as nourishment and balance, not as convenience or entertainment. This does not mean modern Japan has no processed food. Like every developed nation, dietary patterns have shifted over time. But the traditional model gives us insight into a dietary pattern that evolved before ultra-processed food became dominant. And the contrast is important when we examine modern research. Now let's move from culture to science. A recent publication in JAMA examined dietary patterns and the risk of type 2 diabetes. The studies found that higher intake of ultra-processed foods was associated with an increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Ultra-processed foods often contain refined starches, added sugars, industrial additives, and are typically energy-dense but low in nutritional quality. Importantly, this was observational research. That means it shows association, not direct proof that processed food causes diabetes. However, when we consistently see similar patterns across large populations, it strengthens the concern that dietary quality matters. This is not about blaming individual foods. It's about recognizing overall patterns. Beyond diabetes, researchers have reported associations between higher consumption of ultra-processed foods and several chronic conditions. These include certain cancers, hypertension, and broader cardiometabolic diseases. Across multiple studies, a consistent theme appears. Diet quality matters more than focusing on a single nutrient. In other words, it is not just about fat or sugar or salt alone. It's about the overall pattern of eating. When dietary patterns are built around whole foods, vegetables, fruits, legumes, fish, minimally processed grains, we see more protective trends. This image of a supermarket shelf reminds us how easy it is today to choose convenience. But public health evidence increasingly suggests that returning to whole food patterns may offer long-term benefit. Importantly, this is not just one study. The US Dietary Guidelines 2025 to 2030 also emphasize reducing added sugars and refined grains and encouraging whole, minimally processed foods. Across public recommendations, the message is consistent. Limit added sugars. Reduce refined grains. Emphasize fresh vegetables, fruits, legumes. Choose minimally processed dietary patterns. This is not about extreme dieting. It is about food quality. When we zoom out and look at population health, the long-term message is simple. Food quality influences metabolic health. Interestingly, these recommendations align closely with traditional food cultures, including Japan's historic dietary patterns. So what is the practical message from all this? Traditional eating patterns prioritize real food. Modern research, including JAMA and other large population studies, consistently show associations between ultra-processed foods and chronic disease risks. Modern convenience often comes with added sugar, excess salt, refined starches, and artificial additives. The solution is not extreme dieting. It is simple. Choose seasonal, fresh, minimally processed foods wherever possible. Small daily choices, repeated over years, shape long-term metabolic health. Eat right. Be healthy. This companion book is available on our website. If you like a deeper explanation of today's topic, we have prepared a companion booklet. In the booklet, we explain Japan's traditional food culture, the JAMA evidence on processed food and type 2 diabetes, additional research linking ultra-processed foods to cancer and hypertension, and current public health recommendations. The goal is not to create fear. It is to provide clear, structured information that helps you make informed daily choices. Be safe. Eat real food. Thank you for watching.